And here we are. Hopefully, here we are. Hopefully, I'm live. Someone needs to do a comment quickly and tell me that you can hear me. Yeah, because I can't tell. I'm chatterboxing away, and I've got 4 likes, and there's 7 people in the room, and hopefully, I'm live. It says I'm live, but it's said that before, and it hasn't worked. So, can you hear me, guys? Aha, yay, the dude. Awesome. That's cool. All right. Awesome. Mr. B's in the house. Welcome along. 6th Street Garage. Good to have you here, man. Old timer. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Andy Nickel. Hey, you're all here. Todd Denio. Hey, guys. Good to, well, not see you, but you know what I mean. Good to have you here. The dude, that is a GTO convertible in the background. That's one you're going to be seeing a video on shortly. We've got some fairly big plans for that one. Yeah. And that shadow you're seeing on the truck, dude, is Dr. Art, none other. He's been giving me a hand with a few mechanical projects in the shop. So, yeah, that was him lurking there, casting the shadow. Jeff, you're happening here. Well, it's good to know I'm a happening thing. Yeah. Yeah. Beagle Bob, hey, buddy. How you doing? Yeah. Oh, it's cool. We've got 24 in the room already. That's cool. Firing along nicely. Well, it's good to be here. I hope you guys all had a good week and got up to some level of mischief, hopefully. Beagle Bob, all dressed up. Mate, I broke out my WRC shirt. That way. WRC, World Rally Championship. Yeah. So, been watching that. We're round 2's just been completed of that one in Sweden, which is awesome viewing for me anyway. I think it is. Eric Wilson, hey, welcome to the room. So, yeah, no special occasion. Well, I mean, I was really seriously hoping the regular stream was going to work. We did figure out what was going on. We had a VPN running, which kind of is a way you can watch some foreign, like English programming and European programming and stuff like that by using a VPN, and it tricks the internet into thinking you're actually in England or in wherever you choose through your VPN. But YouTube didn't like it at all. And so after much kind of stress and deliberation, trying to figure out what was going on, and long calls with AT&T, and we had a guy came around to try and figure out what was going on, and he figured it out, and here I am back on. Part of the reason it suddenly tripped us up is that typically my wife's out of town on a Tuesday night, so. But the last few weeks she's been in town with her tablet and with the VPN going, and yeah, it kind of it messed the system up. As I say, YouTube knew there was something going on, that Kiwi appeared to be broadcasting from England or Uzbekistan or somewhere, and it didn't like it. So, so we got to figure it out, and I'm back. So yeah. The dude, looking forward to the GTO. It's quite a nice GTO, actually. It's in really good shape. And we're going to be doing all Detroit speed suspension on it, big Wilwood brakes, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be quite a fun one. Dressing up the motor and stuff. Not doing anything real hot roddy on the motor. We'll put a set of headers on it. And that'll probably be about, or maybe an aluminum intake, something like that. But yeah, it's more about getting it to the right height where he wants it, and getting it going around corners a little bit better than the stock suspension did. Josh Homan, good to be here. Good to have you here, mate. Awesome. Old timer F7. What are the odds of a shop truck showdown in North Mexico? What do you mean, North Mexico? Okay, I feel I'm missing something here. There could well be a shop truck showdown with old Kevin Tates and his Paintchication channel. If some of you may have caught the short that I did with him on Saturday morning, we went and I helped him pick up an old like a 78, I think it was, Chevy stepside truck, which he's going to be fixing up and fixing up to a degree, not like he usually does. He wants to go to the Duct Tape Nationals, which by the sound of it is a little bit like that No Name Nationals, but they call it, someone else is doing it, and it's called the Duct Tape Nationals, and you've got a $5,000 ceiling or limit on what you can spend on the vehicle that you're going to drag race. So Kevin's truck should fall under that. If I don't get carried away with my truck, it will fall into that category. We're still floating around that $1,000 mark at the moment, so we're kind of well within the limits. It's not, not going to be terribly fast, but hey, it's all meant to be a bit of fun. It's not like we're setting any national records that have to be ratified or anything like that, Todd Denier, Kiwi, you didn't have to get all dressed up this early, maybe a little bit later, but not yet. Okay, well, here I am. This is it. This is what you got. I just thought I'd put a nice shirt on. So yeah, in honor of the fact that we're back on a full screen and not that little vertical telephone. So it's nice to actually be using the laptop for this. Makes it much easier to read all your comments as well. Eric Wilson, I just went up to the store on my snowmobile to get an adult beverage. Well, what better way to do it, man? That's awesome. Yeah. Can you get DUI'd on a snowmobile? I suppose you could. Old timer, Eric Wilson, good man. I wish I had one again. I've never actually been on a snowmobile. It's something it's on my bucket list of things I would like to have a play on. Done a lot of jet skiing in my day, not anymore, but I did once upon a time. The dude, old timer, I remember you from the Vintage Sled Forum years ago. Oh, wow. Small world, huh? Eric Wilson, 94 Arctic Cat DR 700. Huh. Oh, ZR. Okay. Mark Strulia. I get tongue twisted again. Strulia. I think that's right. Strulia, surely. Click the like buttons. Yes, guys, please click the like button. That does help. And that's whether it be the live, the videos, the shorts, the whatever. If you can hit that like button, it does help the infamous algorithm of YouTube. We all we're slaves. People like me are slaves to the algorithm. Like that's how we make a couple of bucks at this game. So I would appreciate it if you can. Old timer, yes sir, there's a Centurion for sale near me, tempting. I'm guessing that's a snowmobile of some sort. That's a good sled. Yep, apparently it is. Todd Denier, Kiwi, are you ready for why I said you may need to be dressed up a bit later? Okay, yeah, I'm ready. Tell me, why is that? What's happening a little bit later? Have I got a special guest I haven't heard about? Yeah, enlighten me. Old timer, Kiwi, a fast triple two-stroke will change your life. Well, yes. I've ridden a, what was it, years ago? I think it was a Kawasaki triple two-stroke motorbike. And golly, that was fast. It was a bit scary. I'll be honest. It was rapid. When I hit that power band, it was like, good grief. Todd Denier, Kiwi, the date hasn't been set yet, but I'm getting hitched. Oh, okay. There you go. Well, that's worth getting dressed up for, mate. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. You've actually managed to kind of nail somebody down. So good for you, bud. Good for you. Eric Wilson, yeah, she's a pretty fast machine. I put a 1.5 lug racing track on it. And you can get a DUI in a sled. Don't ask how I know. Oh dear, that's not good, buddy. Granddad's Junk, welcome to the room. Good to have you along, man. Jeff R, are you at your dining table awaiting guests? That's the no, I am at my dining table. Yes, you're right. I nearly went down to the man cave, but I thought, I'm just going to stay here and do it in the kitchen, just partially in case it didn't work, but it did. So that's awesome. It's good to be back on the computer. Because I know it's a pain watching it with just that little narrow iPhone picture, and it's quite hard to read all the comments. Your guys' comments when you're on the right iPhone, and you get tired holding it up here. That gets after 2 hours. That's like you're running out of arms. Believe me, an iPhone can get quite heavy after 2 hours. The dude Bordeaux coming over for dinner. No, he's not coming over for dinner. Yeah. Besides, he doesn't drink bourbon, so but it's been good having Dr. Art helping out a little bit this last couple of weeks, just doing a bit here and there, and getting the workload kind of a few more things ticked off on that. We've been talking about turbo conversions on something. That's a distinct possibility. He might even be helping Kevin Tates do a turbo conversion on a Chevy truck, depending what engine he ends up putting in it. So, I even... Dude, you'll need to have some sort of Capri Suns there for him. There you go. Yeah. He'd be welcome, mate. Honestly, he would, but he can't get out of his own way, so that's how it is. Anyway, that's enough about him. David Worley, how are you, sir? Good to have you here. Drove the 55 today in this great weather. Yeah, it was nice today, man. We had like 70 degrees here. It was t-shirt weather. It was awesome. Great weather. All went well. Been away. Have you tried the Rowan's Creek? Mate, I haven't. No, I haven't tried the Rowan's Creek yet. I actually have to make a point of going looking for it. I'm gonna get some. That's gonna be my little treat for me. Beagle Bob broke 90 degrees in Arizona today. Wow. That's getting up there in February. The dude boosting the shop truck. Well, the way Dr. Art makes it sound really easy and really cheap, and I'm like, that could be fun. So he was talking about that, and I said, well, how would it work? I said, could you, don't get too excited, guys. I said to him, could you put 2 turbos on a poly engine with twin 4s on it and run one turbo, to each, one turbo to one carburetor and the other turbo from the other side to the other carburetor? And he's like, yeah, that's no problem. We can do that. It's like, I think that'd be kind of a cool setup. Twin turbos running through twin 4 barrels, low boost, 4 pounds maybe. But that's still going to give you probably another 100 horsepower. So, and it would more just be as much as for actual horsepower gains as just that wow factor when you open the hood. It'd be like, yeah, look at all that. So it could be an interesting one. Could be fun. Josh Homan, who is Baldo, he's referring to UTG, mate. He's referring to UTG. Jeff R., with your newfound expertise in electrolysis, have you considered chrome plating? Good service disappearing around the world. Yeah, mate. No, that's some pretty nasty stuff. I wouldn't be wanting to get into chrome plating. That would be the red tape that would be involved in setting up a new venture. For that would be, a shudder to think. But it's getting, they are disappearing. The chrome shops are disappearing, and a lot of that's just because of the restrictions here. The hoops you have to go through, and the EPA, and I mean, the EPA is looking after the environment, and I get that, but it makes it impossible to compete with like the Chinese stuff, the chromed pieces that are coming in from China, because they don't care. once the vat of whatever toxic chemical it is they're using is done, they just pour it out the door. They don't care. But dude, that's top secret, Josh. Oh dear. Todd Denier, Granddad's Junk. Look at my chat a couple before you said hi to Kiwi, and you. Okay, yep. Beagle Bob, Jeff. I think lots of safety, environmental concerns with chrome plating, and I'm pretty sure even nickel is safer. Probably, yeah. Chromium's not a real user-friendly product. And I don't really know much about it, I'll be honest, but that's what I've been kind of led to believe is it's not a real friendly product. So yeah, it's there's less less shops with an increasing share of the market. So the shops that are there are getting very busy, but there's just less and less of them. Josh Homan, I have my own guess, but I'll keep it to myself. Old timer, racing in Mexico means to street race illegally. Therefore, you always say you raced and filed in Mexico. Okay, I'm with you. I get it. Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, but who would? Yeah, who? Not sure who I'd be racing against, but we'll probably end up having a race with Kevin's truck because it's a Chevy. But we'll see. Eric Wilson, yes, with the turbo engine, you'll pretty much double the normally aspirated horsepower at 14.7 pounds of boost, which is 1 atmosphere or 1 bar. So, if you add an extra atmosphere, you've effectively doubled the amount of air going into the engine. So if you double the amount of fuel as well, and on paper, you get approximately double the power. So I figured it's maybe a 400 horsepower engine. 4 pounds boost is about 1/4 of a bar, round figures. Don't crucify me on my math. So another quarter of 400 is 100. So another 100 horsepower. But I think Marge would be quite entertaining with 500 horse. That should be pretty slick. Beagle Bob, maybe parkerizing can become the new chrome for the old 1911 slide looks. Parkerizing, what's that? I'm not familiar with that term, but parkerizing, I don't know. Granddad's Junk, hope we are all involved, Mighty Mopar Group. Yep. Old timer, shop trucks, Ford versus Chevy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, someone suggested that on that short that I did, and Kevin came back and said, as long as Kiwi can keep his Ford running long enough, it's like, ooh that's fighting talk. He's just stirring the pot a little. Yeah, so Todd, when's the big event happening? Did you say you had a date or not yet? So, and where is this taking place? We should have a mass roll up of hot rods there just to rattle the folks there. Granddad's Junk, I'll shed a couple of tears for your freedom, LOL. Yeah, I had a guy that worked for me, and he was getting married, and someone came in and and he was telling this guy that he was getting married in a month or something, and the guy just looked at me all serious, and we said, "What? You couldn't talk him out of it?" It's like, what? Yeah. Does anyone use kilopascals for measuring boost? Not that I've heard of, Bob. No. It's usually, it'll be 0.8 of a bar or 0.6 or 1.4 bar. They don't usually say atmospheres, which is the same thing as a bar. Yeah, Josh Homan, perhaps the Europeans, maybe. Yeah, it's not. I mean, with the European motor racing I've never kilopascals for whatever reason they tend to use a little bit for tire pressures, but not boost pressure. Couldn't tell you why. Beagle Bob, Parkerizing makes a dark grey coating on steel. Okay. I think it's phosphorus plating, essentially. Pretty sure it came about during World War II from nickel shortages for military weapons. Huh. There you go. Jeff R. Is the duct tape drags organised by David Freiberger? Yes, it is. You're right. He owns the event, I believe. So, yeah. So, yeah, that should make it interesting and probably popular. Yeah, ex-Hot Rod Mag, many things since. Yeah, well, he was Motor Trend TV, and of course that's wound up now. Oh, okay. He stands on the track with a couple of others deeming the $5,000 legitimacy. I was wondering how they police that, because that can. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, like it's his event, so I guess what he says goes. And because $5,000 is not a lot of money, just to buy a car that's okay. Typically, or any kind of car, really. You don't get much for under $5,000. And then if you're going to try and actually hot rod it as well, that doesn't leave you a lot of wiggle room. But I think like mine and Kevin's truck, would fit within that. I think. And my truck genuinely will be. I mean, that's I did get a very good deal on the truck, and like I told you guys, I had a free engine, which, while it didn't cost me anything, I guess it still has a value, which goes to that $5,000 judgment on the track. So it'll be interesting. Eric Wilson, I wonder what people would think of a carbureted LH2 North Star engine with a points distributor on it. That's an interesting proposition. Yeah. Don't know much about those North Star engines other than that nobody really seems to like them. And I'm not, I've never actually laid hands on a North Star engine. I've seen them a couple of times, but yeah, really don't know much about them. Sounds on paper like it should be a pretty neat little engine, but people didn't like them. I know they got a weird thing with the starter motor, like under the intake, don't they? That's kind of odd. But yeah, that was kind of because they were a front drive setup, if I'm not mistaken, and that they had limited room. They were having trouble find somewhere to put a starter motor, so they put it under the intake manifold, which is fine as long as you don't have to replace it. Then it gets a little trickier. But yeah, it would Eric, that would draw some attention. I'm sure it would. Todd Denier, Granddad's Junk, you're invited when we get the date set. Okay, I'm not sure how many would be able to handle the climate here in northern Minnesota. I'm 16 miles from Ganukistan, Canada. North Minnesota, yeah, it can get a bit cold up there, can't it? Just have a summertime wedding, mate. It'll be nice. Granddad's Junk, Todd, you should watch the Spates ad, New Zealand advert for a bit of a laugh. Good on you, mate. Yeah, that was a good series back in the day, those adverts for Spates. Yeah. Hard to find the perfect woman, mate. I don't know, that's how it went, if I remember correctly. You can usually find them on YouTube, those ads. If you can find that Spates, there's a series of them, and they're pretty darn funny. Beagle Bob, is the LH2 North Star the GM 4.6 overhead cam? Yeah, I guess you could draw some comparisons there. I mean, they would nowhere. Be careful what I say here, because my knowledge is not very strong on those North Star engines, but I don't think they were anywhere near as. I don't think they were produced in the numbers that the Ford overhead cam engine was for all the Ford, modular engines faults, they still, they produced a lot of them. There was a lot of them out there, but the North Stars was fairly low numbers, I believe. John Giddens, I always loved Lowbuck Garage entry into the duct tape drags with his crazy Jeep Cherokee. Okay, haven't seen that one. That sounds like something to be up Uncle Tony's alley with his 13-second Jeep that he's got. Jeff R, the 5K judgments have been a bit rubbery from my observation, all in the name of a good show. It should be kept, in my opinion, should be kept fairly low key and not to be taken too seriously. But people know what a 10 grand engine looks like. So if you turn up in a car with a 10 grand engine, then that's kind of not the spirit of the rules. And getting sponsored by some engine company that gives you a 10 grand engine does not mean your car costs you under 5 grand. That's yeah. The dude, Lowbuck Garage is great. I haven't watched that channel. I'll have to go and have a look for it. Lowbuck Garage. Okay. Eric Wilson, the LH2 and LC3 versions are the only rear-wheel drive versions of all of them made. Okay. What was that in then? What was the North Star in a rear-wheel drive? Again, showing my lack of knowledge on that stuff. That's an era of American stuff that I was in New Zealand and we just didn't see that stuff. So I never got to play. Todd and I are Kiwi. It's hard to know what day summer will be on. It's literally snowed here in Eli on the 4th of July. Good grief, really? Snowing. Wow. That's crazy. Phil Buckley, hi crew, hope all is well. Hey, welcome along. Good to have you here, bud. The dude, Kiwi, mark your calendar for Spring Carlisle, April 23 to 27. Okay, what's the name of that event? Carlisle, obviously, is the Spring Carlisle. Okay, that's just a general show, or is that a particular mark that's going on there? John Giddens, low budget garage Jeep Cherokee with MGB front suspension to get around the headers. Good grief. MGB. Wow, I would never have imagined an MGB as a candidate for a suspension swap. They would not. It was not a good suspension. Because if any, I don't know whether you guys would ever heard of it, but the MGB was based off Morris Oxford, which was a very early 60s English car. That was not special in any way, and then they made the MGB out of it. Just used all the like the floor pan basically, and put a little sports car body onto a Morris Oxford. And it's an iconic car, the MGB, no question. But as far as its true sports car heritage, that's a little bit of a stretch. The Morris Oxford it was based off was the polar opposite of a sports car. Stray Bullet, what if you happen to find a 10k engine in the dumpster one day? Well, that's kind of why I guess Freiberger gets up there and makes his judgment. Okay. Mrs. Kiwi's obviously watching. She just sent me the link to that Spring Carlisle collector flea market Carlisle auctions driven by Hemmings. Okay, I will have a look at that. Cool. Let me just turn the noise off on that. Right, swap meet. Okay, the dude. Yep, the swap meet. Yeah, that could be fun. That could be fun. Where are we at? What if you happen to find a 10k engine? Yeah. Largest automotive swap meet in the country, I believe. Wow. That's saying something. That's a lot. Well, Stray Bullet, we have the Turlock swap meet on the West Coast. There you go. Granddad's chung. Hey, brother, you're out of control. We have a 1950 Morris Oxford. That's a whole different creature. As a daily driver, she goes well and reliable. Yeah, it's a 50 Morris Oxford. That's a golden oldie, isn't it? Yeah, but as a daily driver, she goes well and reliable. That's fair, and I'll bet it does. But it's not a handling package, is it? Like it's not something you go carving up the backcountry roads in, is it? But not every car is. That's just the whole thing. But yeah. Anyway, Eric Wilson, the LH2 that I bought off eBay cost only $450 and came out of a Cadillac XLR. The XLR-V and the STS-V has a supercharged LC3. And that's a North Star engine? Huh. The dude, I'll be more than happy to show you around. There you go. Well, that's, not making any promises, but yeah, I'll put that on the potential events for sure. Steve Sadusky, bring your walking shoes for the Carlisle swap meet. Great deals there. Yeah, that'll be the trouble. I end up buying too much stuff. Yeah. But who knows what you might stumble across for Marge and that sort of thing. If you're going to find something a little rarer, like parts for Marge, I guess that would be the place to go. Jeff R., I doubt anyone has been fortunate enough to run in the 10-second zone for 5K. For 5K in Australia, fairy godmother visit required. Yeah. Nobody's doing 10s, are they? In this duct tape nationals, are they? And one, I don't know. Is it an 8th mile event or is it a quarter mile event? But even on the 8th mile, 10 seconds is ticking along pretty good. Eric Wilson, those are the much improved versions. Okay, didn't know. Yeah, I'm learning stuff every moment. Yeah, it's good. Stray Bullet, did your new shop truck come from California, Kiwi? I used to work for a company that had one exactly like that. Very little is known about the history of that car. It was last titled in Tennessee in 2016, and because I didn't get it off the actual owner, it was a towaway. It was basically abandoned, or it was at a place where the HOA wanted it gone, so they had it towed away, and nobody claimed it, and it ended up mine. So yeah. Stray Bullet, is it very rusty underneath? It is a little bit rusty. It's not terrible. It's not as nice as that 70 F100 that I did the video on. Just I think, was that the last video I did? It's not as nice as that truck. It's not, but I've seen worse. It's worse. It's we've got a video in the can, which I'll probably put up tomorrow night. So that's of the shop truck, and we took it for a very quick drive around the block, and it was a bit scary to drive. I'll be honest with you, because it was wandering all over the road. It didn't drive anywhere near as good as that 70 F100, but there's room for improvement, shall we say? Room for improvement. But yeah, looking at it, I'd say that white and kind of teal green one that I did the video on, that's already up. I would say that was a California truck, or certainly a desert truck, be it Nevada or Arizona or somewhere like that. But the one I've got, no, I'd have to say no, I don't think so. It's probably seen a little bit of salt in its time, but not bad, really not bad. I've seen them way worse. Josh Homan, it may be that exact truck. You never know. Well, no, I don't know. It could have been, could have started life in California. I don't know. Having never met the most recent owner before me, That old F series always had a knocking automatic transmission pump. Oh, really? Okay. Well, mine's a manual, like a 3-speeder. So that's a treat to drive. It's got a big first gear. It's got a really tall first gear, which kind of surprised me for a truck. But I guess it couldn't have the granny low because that would have only left 2 usable gears, you know. So it's got a fairly tall first gear. It actually feels like the granny low gearing, you know, without the granny low. It's like second, third, fourth, kind of like how it feels to drive anyway. Andy Nicol, I think in Cletus's $6,000 drag, he got a 10.9 and the winner got near 9.9. Wow. And is that on the 8th or the quarter? Must be the 8th, surely. Steve Sadusky, 3 on the tree. It was a 3 on the tree truck and it's been converted to a floor change. So, dude, hard to hear anything over those old Ford power steering pumps. And the one on my truck just sings like an old opera star, you know, like it's noisy. But it's working, it's pumping, so it's staying where it is. You know, when you're up and rolling, you don't really hear it, but when you're parking it and stuff, yeah, it's like it's screaming like a strung up cat. But it's okay. It's working. Stray bullet, then it isn't the same truck. Okay. Oh well. I'm sure they made a lot of those trucks in blue and white. Todd Denayo, are any of you looking forward and hoping to get the extra 5K Doge refund? Mate. Seeing's believing. Yeah. Andy Nicol, the quarter. Wow. That takes some doing. That's fast. Eric Wilson, the only thing I'm not real crazy about on this LH2 is it's got the metric 60 bell pattern on it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's going to make it. So what are you going to do for a transmission? Like, is anyone making bell housing adapters for them? Andy Nicol, Cletus drove an El Camino. How do you get an El Camino? Like, yeah, that's yeah. Okay, well, safe to say my truck won't be winning the Duct Tape Nationals. At all. I really don't see that truck pulling a 10-second pass. I'd be very excited about a 15-second pass, to be honest, on the quarter with a 302 in it. But yeah, but I think it's all about the event and just having a bit of fun and having a giggle, you know. You've got to be careful not to take life too seriously, you know, just actually go and have a good time. John Giddens, for your own safety, do you do your warrants of fitnesses on your vehicles in the US? I do keep a close eye on them, you know, or closer eye than some people probably do. Joe Public, I'm kind of more referring to. But I do check the things that typically, get checked on a warrant of fitness. I'm not quite as tough on rust as they would be back in New Zealand for warrant of fitness. But, I have a pretty good handle on what's safe and what's not, if you just leave the car alone and don't ever look at it, you're going to run into trouble, man. You're going to run into trouble. Andy Nicol, if you saw his race shop, you'd understand. Oh, well, yeah. I'll bet it's nice. Kevin L, I have a 390 freshly machined, ready for assembly. That would fit excellent in that truck. Yes, it would. Yeah, 390 would be nice. 390 would be nice, yeah. Eric Wilson, well, I ain't found one quite yet, so I'll probably end up making an adapter. Okay, but my favorite trans is the Chrysler 46RH. Okay. Yeah, that could work. Well, I mean, that's cool if you've got the talent and the machinery available to you to make an adapter. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Right, stray bullet. I always check the oil when the dashboard message tells me it's low. That's the extent of my safety check. Eric Wilson, I think I do. Is that you think you have the talent or you think you have the machinery? uh, Stray bullet, you got to keep an eye on your car, mate. You got to kind of service it. You got to give it a bit of love, and it will look after you in return. So yeah, but I get it. So one thing I can tell you about the truck is, I did kind of hint at that on the title, is that we're definitely going to be converting it to a short bed. I've made that decision. I just don't like the long bed. I do like the short bed. It's a little sportier for me, and probably a Crown Vic front end swap on it will be coming. Just because that little short drive that I took it was not pleasant to drive, and I either spent a bunch of money on trying to get that double I beam set up with Fords working a bit nicer, and refurbished, or put that money towards a Crown Vic. So I'm kind of leaning towards the Crown Vic side of things, and it's a very, very, very popular swap, and there's a ton of videos on it. But hey, I'll make another video on it, and we'll see how it goes. Stray bullet, EFI 460 Ford swap for the shop truck. Yeah. That would be not bad either. That would be, and if I'm honest, I do think the 460 and the 429 is a better engine than the FE. So yeah. That would make it a quite the powerhouse, but it would make it a little heavy on gas as well. That's one thing about the 302. It should be for commuting to work and back. It should be reasonably gas pump friendly, hopefully. Eric Wilson, will have a Bridgeport and a lathe. Well, you should be able to get it done with that, mate. You should be able to get it done with that. That's good that you're not scared to dig in and get it done. Good for you, man. Good for you. Now, what else have we got? So what else is happening at the shop? I was telling you about that Pontiac. We're doing that nice GTO. That's getting all sorts of suspension and wheels and brakes and fun stuff like that. I quite enjoy those jobs. It's like bolting lots of nice new parts on is always quite nice when after you've been fighting old seized up, greasy, nasty stuff like on my truck. There's one thing about little bits of work I've done on that truck. You get dirty pretty quick. The dude, what year is the goat? It's a 68 with a 389. Stray bullet. Sometimes I consider converting my 91 F250 to a short bed. I also have a Crown Victoria laying around here somewhere. There you go. I do need a front end for one. A 91. Yeah, I don't know. That's a different truck to what I've got. So I don't know. Someone, you can almost guarantee someone's done it already by now. But it would appear the swap on the 74, or not the swap, but the cut down, is relatively straightforward. They've got a nice straight bit of chassis just behind the cab. You don't have to take the cab off, and you can just basically lop 16 inches out of it, and away you go. But yeah, what's quite nice on the 74 compared to which is 73 to 79 with the dent sides, 67 to 72 with the bump side, and the bump sides on the short bed you take 16 inches out of in front of the rear axle, and you take 4 inches out behind to make it a short bed. So you've got like 2 cuts to do on the bed. And with the dent side like mine, the 73 to 79, Ford only shortened them in front of the rear axle. So they were actually the short bed is a 6 3/4 foot bed. So yeah, they're 4 inches longer than the earlier model, the bump side, which is 4 inches, not much, but it takes one whole cut out of the bed. You don't have to cut and weld, cut the back off, take 4 inches off, and weld it all back together. You only have to do it on the front. So that's a bonus in my book anyway. A lot less welding. Granddad's junk. Well, I've started the poly build. It's super cheap. Get it going and into the 58 Savoy. Well, that's good, man. Are you doing any videos on it? I would be interesting to watch what you're doing. How you getting on, and what you're doing to it, that kind of thing. Seeing as I've kind of got a vested interest in those polys. Beagle Bob, how about a full frame swap from the Vic? Yeah, it's I'm not convinced on the full frame swap. The frame is very different, and I know there's people doing it, and appear to be doing it quite successfully. But for me, I would rather just put the front end in, keep the original chassis, and leave the lower it a little bit or whatever at the back if I choose to, and just leave the leaf springs in it. One thing about leaf springs, they're one of the best suspensions for carrying a load with, and I will be. This is not going to be a pretty show truck that never gets so much as a cooler in the bed. It'll be we'll be throwing shit in the bed, engines, transmissions, whatever. So it's going to be a truck still that's used. So I would rather have the original Ford chassis on it. Todd Denier, well, everyone, I'm calling it a night. Didn't get much sleep last night. Okay, who kept you awake all night? Should we ask? Do we really want to know? The dude, Hot Rod Garage, did a full frame swap on a 60s Ford truck, called it the Crown Hick. Yeah, there's guys doing it. It's very popular, this body swapping now. And sometimes sometimes it's a very good idea, and sometimes I kind of question why they're doing it. Todd, thanks for joining us. You go and catch up on your sleep, mate, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Who else we got here? Steve Osgood, welcome to the room. Kiwi, the legend himself, come fix my car. Where's your car, buddy? Where's your car? Granddad's junk. Yes, I have 2 so far. 2 polys. Oh, yeah, very good. Jeff R, lunchtime in Adelaide. Hot, flaky pastry, chunky beef pie while listening to the live. I hope you're not hungry. Well, I am hungry now. Nothing like a hot meat pie. Flaky pastry. Yep. It's a delicacy that's a little lost in the general American public, but that's one of my favourite parts about going back to New Zealand is getting my fill of meat pies. Thanks for joining us, Jeff. Eric Wilson, I've been working on my 74 Honda Trail 70 project lately. That's like a little wee trail bike, is it? 70cc, is that what that's about? Not that up on my motorbikes, I'm afraid. Steve Osgood, 2004 Escalade with blend door problems again. Oh yeah, no, I'm not playing that game. No, don't work on those with good reason. I had to. My daughter's got a little Ford Fiesta, and I had to do blend doors on that recently. Not my preferred Saturday occupation. Working on late-ish model Fiestas. Paintucation by Kevin Tate. What's up, KT in the house? Hey, welcome along, bud. How you doing? Have you got that old Chevy truck running yet, bud? You've had it for, what have you had it now? 3 days? Yeah, should be running by now. Did you get that car painted tonight, buddy? Or did you bail and head home for a bourbon? Or have you, yeah, well, this time maybe you just got home. Granddad's Junks. Sorry, brother Kiwi. I meant 2 videos on it so far. Okay. All right, mate. I'll have to look you up and take a look. Okay, I will do that. Yeah, that's cool. Andy Nicol. My mum was English and she used to make a mean steak and steak and kidney pie. There you go. Yeah, that's an English staple for sure. Education, boy. Mr. Tate's just finished painting the packard. Shut up. Mate, when I was talking to you earlier, it didn't sound like you were going to hang in there to paint it. But yeah, good for you, man. That's one less thing you got to do tomorrow, but so that's always positive. Steve Sadusky, when I bought my 68 Chevelle SS, someone before me installed hood pins on it. 68 Chevelles didn't come with hood pins, so I bought a sheet metal plug kit from Eastwood. Okay. So what's in the plug kit? Is that just like little circles of sheet metal, or what's that involved? You should be able to fix it. Fortunately, you got to probably fix the inner skin as well, depending where they put the hood pins through. But they usually seem to end up going through the inner frame. Steve Sadusky, how would you weld the sheet metal plugs? Flush or slightly recessed? I would try and do it. Flush. Take your time a little bit and get them to a nice fit into the hole. And don't be scared. Like if the plug's maybe a little bit too big, don't be scared to make the hole in your hood a little bit bigger rather than try and trim down a little tiny, disc of metal. I've done that before. I had to fill in a whole bunch of trim holes on the side of a Mercury Comet, and it was the Comet Cyclone that didn't have much side trim or very minimal side trim because it was the muscle car kind of version of the 64 Comet. And we got a replacement quarter off what was the Mercury Comet Caliente, which was buried in bling and stainless trim. So I had about 60 holes to fill up in this quarter. And they were slightly smaller than the little punch outs. You'd probably see me using that little pneumatic punch for punching out like spot weld holes or plug weld holes. And I rounded up a bunch of them and they were slightly bigger. And initially I started trying to trim them down, but they were so hard to trim down because they were already only, 3/8, I think. So it's like, what the heck? I actually went through and drilled the holes out in the quarter with a 3/8 drill bit, and I had a perfect fit, for the plugs and, into the hole. So it was like, why try and make them smaller when it was literally taking 10 seconds to run through with a drill and make them a perfect match. Steve Sadusky, yeah, small sheet metal circles. Yeah, I would, find the ones that are slight, hopefully there's some there that are slightly oversized, just a little bit, and then enlarging the hole in your hood and get it a nice snug fit and, weld her in, but just slowly does it, just a little bit of heat at a time, just a small amount of weld, let it cool down, weld just a little bit more, and, you'll need some body filler in it. There's just no two ways around that. That's just how it is. But that's okay too. If you weld them in flush, typically it'll probably sink a little bit, so it will give you some room to put it in. And if it's dead flush, you really just means that you won't, probably need hardly any Bondo. What would you use so when the hood is closed it doesn't crack? I don't think Bondo will hold up. I mean, it should. You can use a little bit of glass reinforced filler. They have a short strand, which is quite strong. And actually, Kevin might be able to chime in here. He was telling me about an aluminized filler that somebody's brought out. He was telling me about it, and now it's went in one ear and out the other. But we were talking about what to use over panels. When you're welding like a roof skin to a quarter. and how you fill that area up. And so Kevin, if you're still with us, what was that aluminized or metallized body filler that you were telling me about? That might be ideal for what Steve's doing. Steve Osgood, my dream truck would be a 60s to 70s pickup, minimal electronics. Yep, don't need touch screens, backup cameras, just need AC, power steer, power brakes, automatic. Yep, old-fashioned cables on the climate control. Yeah, well, that pretty much you pretty much described my truck, except it doesn't have AC. It's got power brakes now, and it's not automatic, but it will be getting AC. I can't. I've got to have AC in the summer in Tennessee. I can't survive without it. Eric Wilson, I've owned this Trail 70 for 40 years. Wow. I even got a compliment on it yesterday. Yeah, I bet you did. 40 years. Wow. So was that like from brand new or like what? 70? Yeah. No, it wouldn't have been brand new if it's a 70. It's a Trail 70, not a 1970. Yeah. Fred Nurk, afternoon. Well, it's evening here, bud, but we'll take your word for it. Mark Strulia, click the like. Yes, don't forget to click the likes. There's 51 of us in the room here and 47 likes, so somebody's dragging the chain. Come on, guys. Paul Lawrence, how did you end up in the US from New Zealand? We actually won the American Green Card Lottery, which basically doesn't win you a green card. What it does is wins you the right to apply and go to the head of the queue for a green card. Kept putting our name in on that online, and name came up, and jumped through all the hoops, which there was a lot. They call it a lottery, but like you really don't. What is to say you win the right to fill out a lot of paperwork to keep the American government happy before they'll let you in. All sorts of police background checks, and they're pretty thorough. Like I'd lived in Australia for a little over a year back in my 20s, and I had to get in touch with the Australian police and get a police report on myself from Australia as well as from New Zealand to give to the American consulate to be allowed to come here. So they're pretty tough, I got to say. But that's can't complain. They didn't make me apply. So it's you do it if you want to, and if you don't want to, don't. Mark Struley, I put a cool pack dealer installed AC in my 58 Cameo. Well, that'd be cool. So dealer installed AC. So is that one you got picked up secondhand somewhere, or tell me more about that? Eric Wilson, it might be me. Hang on, I'll take care of that. Okay. The dude, I think Kevin is one of the people who forgot to click the like. I think he might have stepped away from the room again already, which is a shame because I don't recall the name of it, or who made it. But yeah, he was talking, he was praising it pretty highly. So, which I know that's not much help. But sorry about that. 6th Street Garage, FYI, Kiwi, the early Crown Vics had steering sectors. In the 2000s, Ford switched to rack and pinion steering. I think R&P. Yeah, it would definitely be the rack and pinion Crown Vic, not the early one. No, 2003 on, I think they went to rack and pinion. I wouldn't mess with the earlier ones. But I believe it was. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was 2003 on. They went to the rack and pinion and like that kind of standalone cross member that unbolts, and you can bolt it basically into your F100. It seems it's a pretty straightforward swap. Straightforward. You got to take the whole front clip off. You got to take the engine out at a minimum, probably really engine and trans. Take all your steering out. put the Crown Vic cross member in. There's a piece you can buy like aftermarket that you weld into the frame, which is what the Crown Vic bolts into, and then you've got to connect the steering up, and obviously all your brakes and power steering, pumps, and so it's relatively straightforward. At the same time, there's quite a bit to it as well. Mike Australia, got to go. All right, see you, man. Thanks for joining us, and your input. It's all greatly appreciated. So yeah, thank you, sir. Steve Osgood, yeah, it's tough to come here legally. What do you miss about New Zealand? What do I miss about New Zealand? Probably the little more relaxed lifestyle I believe they have in New Zealand. They're just kind of a little more laid back. There's a little bit better work-life balance. You have more holidays in New Zealand. Like standard it's 4 weeks annual leave. That's what all Kiwis get, as part of their employment package. It's all 4 weeks, plus your statutory holidays and sick pay on top of that. So yeah, so the quality of life, I think, is a little better balanced, shall we say. Cost of living is very high. I don't miss that. But yeah, and obviously friends and family and a little bit of the culture, it is a different culture here in the States. Not vastly different, but it is different, so yeah. But yeah, there's certainly some things I don't miss. Some of this carrying on they have in New Zealand about who owns the water rights and the rights to the airwaves and rights to the sea floor and stuff like that is like, that's getting a bit out of hand. But yeah, this is not a political broadcast, so yeah. Granddad's drunk. Do you have any joke? Granddad's drunk. Do you have any convictions they can get picky on it? Yes, they can get picky on it, and no, I don't. So yeah, that was If I had, then I probably wouldn't be here. It's no, they're pretty tough on all that. Yeah, all sorts of health tests they make you take, and it costs about New Zealand dollars, but by the time for my little family of 4, with all the paperwork, the tests, the obtaining of records and all that sort of stuff, it was about a $10,000 exercise to get the green light for the green card. So yeah, kind of see why people sneak across the border, because not everyone's got 10 grand, so yeah. Mark Australia, I found a cool pack and bracket at swap meet and a compressor on eBay. Nice. That's the way to put it together. Yeah, be all period correct. So that's cool. Yeah, I bet that looks good. Beagle Bob, 2003 rack and pinion. Yeah, I thought it was 2003. Beagle Bob, have you looked at a 7.3 Godzilla swap? That, if I was going to go something other than the 302, which was just a straight, engine for engine swap, that or probably something like that. I don't think I would go with a Coyote. That's a little bit done to death, in my opinion. And honestly, the Coyote's a great motor, but it's not a torquey motor. They're a motor that revs. They love to rev, and they're not a super torquey motor, and that's why they haven't necessarily always. That's why Ford came up with the 7.3 Godzilla, because the Coyote, with its torque numbers, was not really cutting it for a true truck. F-150 Raptor is a truck, but it's a sport truck. It's not built to carry big loads or tow big trailers. Like a Coyote in a 250 is just not a great idea, and that's why they came up with the 7.3, because there's no substitute for cubic inches. So the Godzilla, it's relatively new and it's not super well supported from an aftermarket standpoint. But yeah, that's something I would definitely consider. But there's a pretty healthy price tag that goes along with it. and really, the idea with the shop truck was for it to be a shop truck, you know. And yeah, it's not like the 302 has got bags of torque, but it's capable of towing another car on a trailer, you know, and the truck's big enough and heavy enough to tow another car on a trailer if I need to. So yeah, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of overbuilding it. Just the KISS theory, keep it simple, stupid, and you know, not invest huge amounts of time and money into it. It's a shop truck. Like, I mean, some people absolutely love their trucks, and you know, they wouldn't have a hot rod. You know, I would rather spend a little bit more time and money on large Marge than on the shop truck. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. But yeah, I'd looked at it, and I spoke with a friend of mine, and they're up at RTM. They're clearing out some stuff out at RTM. And I said, keep an eye out for something interesting, a motor. You know, he knows the truck that I've got. And I said, if there's something interesting going up there, let me know. You know, there might be a deal to be had on something that would just make it interesting. And, you know, I don't know whether they've got any Godzillas. They probably don't. But I don't know if they had a tweaked up FE that they were trying to get rid of, or a 460, 429, something like that. You know, I'd look at that. Driveway of Misfits. Good evening, all. Unavoidably detained from the live stream. Well, that's no good, mate. Was she pretty? You know, as long as she was worthwhile, that makes it okay. Jeff R. Can Mrs. Kiwi cook a meat pie? She can cook a meat pie. She can. Kiwi's classic customs and pies. Oh no, more people at the workshop. Oh no. Yeah, might get too many queuing outside the workshop. Yeah, you're exactly right. You're exactly right there, Jeff. But yeah, she and sausage rolls are her specialty. Like, she makes the best sausage rolls. Yeah. Stray Bullet, it's worth it to come here, I guess. At least you don't have to worry about ICE raiding the shop, Kiwi. That's right. Yeah. Well, I'm fully legal now. I'm an American citizen, so I believe they can't even throw me out if they want to now, because you know, I got all the paperwork I need, not just a green card. So I actually have an American passport now, so, and a New Zealand passport. I'm not giving that up. Kevin's back in the house. Driveway of Mr. Granddad's junk. Yep. Paintification. Has anybody got a different recipe for unfreezing an engine? I've read 50/50 AFT, ATF, and acetone suggestions. Well, there you go. Give Mr. Tate some advice, guys. Yeah, that. I think that engine of yours will come free, Kevin, because it was moving just a little bit, and like, we've got a Falcon, a 63 Falcon in the shop that's frozen, and that doesn't move a thousandth of an inch. That's seized. You know, that's going to have to be stripped and have the pistons beaten out of it. It's properly frozen. Your one was not. It was moving a little, but very you know, it was unhappy about moving, but it was moving. You know. Hey, Kevin, before, someone was asking about he's welding, one of the guys was asking about welding up some holes in the hood of his car and what type of filler to use. I suggested a short strand glass filler, but then I remembered you were telling me about, I think it was an aluminum infused filler of some kind. So what was that? But one of our guys needs to know. Big Bob, I've got a Gen 3 Coyote in my 150. Pretty damn happy with it. Towed about 9,000 Ks cross country without problems. Well, there you go. There you go. I mean, I haven't owned one of those trucks. I haven't driven one. This is kind of some of the feedback I get from people that you talk to, as you know, as your days tick by. So yeah, man, you know, if you're happy with it, that's awesome. That's what counts, man. The F-150 truck Coyote is pretty torquey. Okay. You know, hey, like, don't come to me for advice on your Coyotes. You know, like, that's not my wheelhouse. You know, but some of the numbers I've seen, and I guess maybe that's the Mustang numbers that I'm basing it on rather than the Coyote. But it is my belief that they came up with that 7.3 because they needed something with some fairly high levels of torque. And I don't necessarily mean the 150s, but certainly the 250s. They wanted something, torquey for that, and some of their big vans and stuff like that. They put the Godzilla engine in. Eric Wilson, yeah, if you want big torque, displacement is the way to go. Yep, no replacement for displacement, as they say. Beagle Bob, the 10-speed helps with a 6-something first gear, if I remember correctly. Wow, that is a low first gear. Steve Sadusky in there with a bit of advice for Kevin. Yeah, keep trying to work it back and forth. Yeah, I don't know whether Kevin's got the plugs out yet, but that's where we left it on Saturday. He was going to pull the plugs out and put some acetone and ATF down it and just let it soak. Okay, what have we got here? Shot down the page here, lost my place. There we go. Straight ball at the F-150 engines have different intake cam, I think. Yeah, probably. Just tuned them all for torque. But I mean, the quad cam 4-valve per cylinder formula is not. It's a great formula, but it's not the best formula for torque typically. Which is part of the reason the Coyotes love boost. You supercharge them or turbo them. And it boosts up their mid-range tremendously, and then you've got a fantastic engine. But yeah, they do love boost, which is typical of a 4-valve engine, because it brings it, like supercharging particularly just boosts the torque up dramatically. God, the Son of Jesus Christ saves. Hi, yeah, welcome to the room, bud. Good to have you here. Beagle Bob, Kevin Tietz, have you considered electrolysis or diesel? Electrolysis for freeing up an engine. That's an interesting concept. Yeah. You'd need a big plastic container to put a whole engine in. Charles Dalton, all metal is a metal-based body filler. I've had good success with it. I'm no Kevin Tietz, but I hope that helps. No, thanks, man. All metal. That could be what Kevin was talking about. Steve Sadusky, ATF and acetone is a good mixture to use. Yep. Yep. Everyone's backing up the acetone and ATF. That's a pretty tried and true setup. Christopher C. Sure. Are you sure the motor is seized from rust? Well, no. No, that's a fair comment, fair question. That's an assumption. It's not been driven in a long time, but that doesn't mean it wasn't, something happened to it, and that's why it was parked. There's no guarantees of that. No, that's a fair question. Granddad's junk, white vinegar works as well. Yep. Just pour white vinegar down it. That will work as well. Absolutely. Dead Dodge Garage, just driveway of misfits. Dead Dodge Garage just did a video about tearing down and freeing up an aluminum slant 6. Maybe worth watching to see how they did it. Kevin wants to try and get it freed up without stripping it down. He wants to see if he can get it freed up and get it running. Chris Cadman, hey, how you doing, man? Welcome to the room. Glad to have you here. Kevin Tates, Mr. Tates, Kiwi. I like the short strand fiberglass for moisture seal, but I'm thinking aluminum filled for that since it seals too. I'm going to use that aluminum filled on my garbage Camaro sail panels. There you go. So what was the brand of that, Kevin? Was that, so it's aluminum filled. Was there a particular brand for that one? Yeah, I remember we talked about that on your Camaro. But yeah, I think that's probably not a bad option. Christopher C. My luck with C's motors has been bearing related when I find them. Okay. They may have rust from setting. Yeah, it's hard to know what's going on until like pop the heads and drop the pan. That's when you find out what's going on. Don Bell, it takes time to get a motor stuck. Takes time to unstick one. Yeah, well, that's fair. That's a fair comment. Yeah, I guess it makes perfect sense. Yeah, they don't seize up overnight, so I guess they're not going to come unstuck overnight. Beagle Bob, truck motors do have different cams, which is why it makes 60 horsepower less. Yeah, what's the torque number comparison? That'd be interesting. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I'll bet you they forfeit some horsepower, pick up some torque, which is what you need in a truck. So I didn't realise they were able to do that on those Coyotes, which shows you how much I know about the Coyotes. It's really not much. I mean, I've installed a couple, but as far as what makes them tick, no. The Godzilla is a replacement for the troublesome 6.2 Boss engine. Yeah, that's true. Steve Osgood, Kevin Tates. I like your channel too. Panther platform is so damn nice. Full frame, very dependable. Yep. Yeah, no, Kevin's channel is doing really well. He makes some very good videos, which I'm sure any of you guys watching me do this or watching my channel would get at least as big a kick out of Kevin's channel. So you should head over there and have a look. Paintucation by Kevin Tates. He's doing some of the stuff is kind of a little similar to mine, and but he's a little bit more working on his own projects, whereas I'm a little bit more customer car orientated. So it's a nice mix. So yeah, go for it. Jeff R, have you still got the bourbon bottle on the dining room table? No, mate, I don't. No, still on the JD apples. Yeah. I've really taken a liking to that. It's just very easy to drink. So yeah, kind of getting stuck in a rut there on my JD apple. Eric Wilson, Coyote engines seem pretty expensive if buying one. Yeah, they are. They are a little pricey. Yep, for sure. Kevin T, Mr. T. These days I like U-Pole, but Evercoat has metal to metal, and it's similar. Both great fillers. There you go. Kevin, I need bourbon. Well, I know you've got some there, bud. So I suggest you pour yourself a glass and come sit down. Beagle Bob, before I used electrolysis the first time, I was watching lots of videos and found one guy with an old 455, don't quote me, who had a stuck piston and freed it up. Okay. Huh. So did he have it like in a huge container, or like how did he get the electrolysis happening on something that big? John Ginners, isn't the only way to free an engine is to watch Jennings Motorsports video. He can unstick anything. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that channel, but yeah, there's time and patience. That'll get pretty much anything unstuck. They're not actually welded together. They just seems like they're welded together. But once you can work your way through whatever's jamming them, they'll free up. Beagle Bob, the truck makes 395 horse and 400 torque. I think the runners are shorter, but might be on the third gen. There is also oil squirters to cool the pistons, definitely designed for reliability with a high low. There you go. Yeah. What are the torque numbers on the different engine? Oh, 400. The truck, 395 horse and 400 torque. What's the torque on the Mustang version of it? Well, normally aspirated, obviously. Yeah. So did they? Yeah. I'll bet you. I bet you the Mustang ones don't make 400 torque. Steve Osgood, did somebody say bourbon? The nectar of the gods. Wild Turkey 101 in my coffee when it's cold out. That'd be nice. Good on vanilla ice cream too. So is the ice cream a vehicle for the bourbon, or is the bourbon a vehicle for the ice cream? That's the question. Yeah. Chris Cadman, bourbon time. Yeehaw. Beagle Bob, I put a 454 in a wheelie trash bin. Used the cherry picker to hold it so it didn't break the bin. Okay. Huh. Don't see why it wouldn't work. Yeah. I mean, the voltage doesn't know what it's going through. Yeah, electrolysis is really going to work regardless of size. Yeah, don't see why it wouldn't work. Steve Sadusky, yeah, Kevin's channel, Paint Education, is great too. I've been following his channel also. Great learning tips. Yeah, Kevin's always got lots of tips, and he's an excellent teacher. He's a really talented teacher. So he just has a way of explaining stuff that makes sense. And that's where I kind of became a bit of a fan of his when I first got to the States. I kind of stumbled on what was it called back then? Power Block TV. And Kevin was on the truck show. And whenever you watched an episode of that, you kind of finished the episode going, that's, well, I'd never thought of that, or that, what a great tip. There was always at least one, even for a relatively experienced car guy, there's always something he would put in there that you go, oh, wow, that's so cool. I'm going to do that, which makes it good, makes it well worth the watch. Jeff R. What? Car dudes showing interest in bodywork and decent paint makes for a change to the past few years of preserved patina. Yeah. Patina's kind of here to stay, I'll be honest, in my opinion, for what it's worth, but mainly because the cost of like nice paint and bodywork is so expensive. And not everybody's got that kind of money, a good paint job, a little bit of bodywork, and a little bit I'm talking about, and a good paint job is going to cost you 20 grand these days. That's just the reality of it. And, on top of everything else you had to do to the car and buy the car. So, yeah, it's having really nice paint is, it's just not in everybody's reach anymore, Granddad's junk. Patina is just a polite way of saying it's rusty and I'm too lazy to paint it. That's possibly a little harsh, Granddad. But yeah, I get what you're saying. There's an element of truth to that statement. Absolutely, there is. Absolutely. Beagle Bob, Mustang makes 460 and 420 peak torque at 7,500 though. I think the truck has peak horsepower at 5,800, peak torque around 3,500. Yeah. Not familiar with the Stangs though. I went with a pushrod 5 litre on my SN95. Right. Yeah. You need more mid-range torque. So peak torque at 3,500 is much more where you'd want it for a truck. Definitely. Driveway of Misfits. So what's Kev the Kiwi up to tonight? He's camping out tonight at the workshop. I probably should have brought him back with me, but I didn't. I left him at the workshop. So he's there. He's doing guard dog duty, shall we say. And he's ready to squeak at any intruders that come that way, which I think is the sound they make. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. Don Ballot, make it run, drive it. Yeah. Working on them is fun for sure, but driving them's a lot of fun too, And yeah, sometimes you can spend 5 years building these things, and then you're over them at that point. So there's a lot to be said for just getting it decent, getting it running good, and actually being able to get out and enjoy it, and then maybe paint it a little bit later, Beagle Bob, I'm channeling Hank Jr. I don't have the cornbread, but I swapped out iced tea for the 90 proof. There you go. KT, Kevin Tates, just check the 35 packer. Colour matches spot on. Bleeds are good. I'm going home. Oh, I figured you were already home, but yeah, wow, you are working late. Good for you. Yeah, that's the joy of being self-employed, isn't it? You get to work any 24 hours of the day you like. Yeah. Oh well, man, that'll be quite a weight off your mind, I'm sure. That's a big car. That's a big car to be painting. Christopher C, I never knew how easy flux core welding is until this last year. Yeah, it is easy. MIG welding is easy, let's be honest, just MIG welding in general. Flux core I don't think is particularly any easier than gas type MIG welding. And it's a little bit less cleanup because you don't have to chip off the slag. But yeah, flux core is pretty easy. It gets trickier when you're trying to weld thin stuff and weld upside down or over your head and that kind of thing. But yeah, in good conditions, it's pretty straightforward. Eric Wilson, C4 Corvette roller bodies are still a little bit affordable. But you didn't hear that from me. Oh dear. Granddad's junk. End of the day, if money's a bit tight, you can paint your car yourself and it won't be perfect, but it can look okay. That's very true. And I mean, I think that's happening more and more. And some of that is budget constraints, and some of it is like there's not many places doing car paint, repaints anymore. It's really the domain of hot rod shops, a few of the Makos, that kind of thing. But collision shops, they do not paint cars anymore. Not complete cars. They'll touch them up, but that's it. So yeah, you have limited options for who's going to paint your car if you don't do it yourself. And tell you what, if you want to do it yourself, get some of Kevin's DVDs or his online streaming of videos for how-to on painting. That will, you buy those, watch those, and you'll get a decent paint job, I promise you. He has a ton of great information on his videos. Absolute ton of it. What else we got here? Granddad's junk. Agreed. That's what I did with my Beetle. Yeah, I've seen cars painted on driveways, like outside, outdoors. And they choose a quiet day and they wet the ground down and stuff like that. And it's staggering how decent they can be at times. It's really quite amazing. Your Digital USA. Hey, Kiwi, nice WRC shirt. Yeah, mate. You got to fly the flag a little bit. Got all the sponsors on here. Good shirts. I got WRC sweatshirt as well, and a WRC. I'm a bit of a WRC fan. I got a WRC keyring as well, which is kind of cool. Which is a rally wheel. One of those Oz rally wheels. That's kind of pretty cool. What do we got? Christopher C. Got a second gen LT1 in the garage waiting in a rotating assembly. Okay, cool. Well, that's what Kevin's building. Is a second gen split bumper conversion. So you should shoot over to his channel and watch what he's doing on that. The garbage Camaro. That will give you some good informative viewing if you head over there. Beagle Bob, do you use a TIG torch often? Yeah, reasonably often. Yeah, they certainly have a place. It's a little bit slower than a MIG, and it certainly takes a lot more mastering to be able to be really good at. I've seen some guys that are spectacularly good with TIG. I'm okay. I'm not going to say it's any better than okay, but you need to. The more you do, the better you get at it with TIG. So and yeah, it's great. TIG is really good, but yeah, it's I wish I was a little better at it. I'll be honest with you. Jeff R, removing a bit of the fear from the unknown. Yeah, okay, paint's expensive and we don't all have the environment. Yeah, and you'd be surprised how you can make up a paint booth in your garage, just your home garage, without going crazy money wise. It's going to cost you a little bit, but yeah, a bunch of plastic sheeting, a bunch of duct tape, some filters, some way of moving the air through, and you can make up an okay paint booth where you won't get paint over the entire inside of your garage. Yeah, you can do quite a bit in your home garage. The dude, just think, Kiwi could paint his own car and have it come out just as good as if a shop did it. Yeah, you'd never know, you'd never be able to tell the difference. I've painted a few cars in my day. It's been a while since I've painted, though, to be fair. I'm a little bit rusty. Yeah, I would have to. I'd have to drag Kevin in, kicking and screaming, and to make sure I wasn't screwing it up. But yeah, because it's been a little while, I'll be very rusty. Don Vellet, I learned to weld 120 feet in the air with a stick. I like my cheap MIG. Yeah. Wow, 120 feet in the air. What was that on? What? Yeah. My brain went to oil rig for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. What have we got? Chris Cadman, a gas-powered V8 two-stroke would be fun. Mate, I saw a video clip on a Volvo in Europe. It was some old, I think 50s or 60s Volvo, and they had a V8 Evinrude outboard motor in it, two-stroke outboard motor. 8 big of those, they exhaust that start off small and go into a big chamber and then go back to a real small outlet again. That expansion, something they call them on the two-stroke. Sounded absolutely awesome. Sounded just incredible because it wanted to rev like no tomorrow. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, you might be able to search it on YouTube. Volvo, two-stroke V8, something like that, and see what comes up. But it sounded just awesome. Steve Sadusky, I'll be painting my Chevelle. If it comes out crappy, I'll redo it. Yeah, I have Kevin's DVDs too. There you go. So Steve, like that's good stuff. It's good information. It's worth the money. Beagle Bob, talking about your attire reminds me I still need to buy a Super Kev shirt or something. Yeah, well, guys, I've still got Super Kev shirts, and I've got Large Marge sent me T-shirts. So, yeah, by all means, drop me a line and order some shirts. I've got them. They need to go. They need a home. So, yeah, reach out. There's a Shopify link on my homepage on YouTube. You can just go there, or you can shoot me an email. Let's see. The dude, you can put my email up if you like. How about that? Yeah, you can put a link to that, or the link to the Shopify if you can do that, and because that's above my computer skills. You should have seen the fuss of the grief it gave me just trying to get the Shopify thing going. Yeah, so yeah, Beagle Bob, buy a shirt, bud. 6th Street Garage, Kiwi, have you ever tried any of the DIY paint products like Duplicolor and Summit Cell? Well, Duplicolor do a lacquer, which is not bad. Lacquer is very easy to paint with. I haven't tried the Summit stuff, but the Duplicolor, well, I haven't tried actual Duplicolor. I've painted a lot of cars with lacquer, and which is what the Duplicolor is or was. And it's very user friendly lacquer. It's very hard to get it to make it run because it dries so fast. And yeah, it's good stuff. It's just got way too many VOCs to be on the mass market now. Eric Wilson, I like when 4-door cars are converted to 2-door. Oh, fair enough. There you go. That's a lot of work, but yeah, it can be well worthwhile, depending on the model of the car. Driveway of misfits. When I painted my Beetle, I just lined the garage with plastic drop cloths and used the furnace filters on 2 box fans for ventilation. Yep, that's all you need to do, really. That's enough. It's not perfectly ideal, obviously. Perfectly ideal is a $60,000 booth, but that's not happening. Bob, anything Kiwi does is like a shop does it. Well, I am a shop, so I guess it should be, really, shouldn't it? Yeah, I get what you're saying. Granddad's Junk. I once painted HQ Holden with a wattle Esther 400 industrial mismatched colour. Got it cheap and turned out nice. Oh, good grief, really? A wattle? Bob, how about the old Detroit 2-stroke diesels? Can't see one without wanting to get one. Yeah, I've never seen one in the flesh or heard one running, like live. But yeah, it's an interesting concept, that 2-stroke diesel. It's pretty wild. Don Bellett, grain elevators in Illinois. For some reason, they thought I could weld them when they hired me. So you learned on the fly, I guess. Yeah. By the end of the first day, you were halfway qualified. There you go. For some reason, I'm guessing someone told him you could weld, but hey, you'd be the first person to kind of stretch the truth a bit on a job application. What do you mean? Andy Nickel, I painted my fenders and bumper cover in the back end of my shop. It was so tight that I had trouble getting far enough away to get the right distance for the gun. Oh, good Lord. Some orange peel and a sag or two. Well, that'll polish out. Sags will polish out. Scrape them off with a razor blade. Give them a polish. Orange peel, yeah, that's just a bunch of sanding, isn't it? But, it depends what the end result was you were going for, Beagle Bob, is there a preferred order method to get the most of the money without processing fee? Just shoot me an email, bud. Yeah, you can either use the Shopify one. It's cost me a few extra bucks, but not much. But yeah, just my email is chris@kiwicnc.com. You can just shoot me an email. Let me type that in there. And there you go. Shoot me an email and tell me what you want, sizes, and we'll get it coming. Andy Nickel, good enough for my purpose. Well, there you go. You got exactly what you needed. So happy ending. Driveway of Misfits, restoration shop direct gloss paint is quite good for the money. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one, but yeah, there's a lot of different paint companies out there. Jeff R, if you paint large Marge, start one corner a bit rusty. Oh, excuse me. And she's got enough metal to be chip fused by the time you get back to the start. Yes, she's a big car. That's that's going to be a day's work painting. That's for sure. Yeah, that is for sure. Just walking the roof, just painting the roof on that car is that's a long route. That's one long panel. That roof will be a challenge to paint and get it all laying nice, and not have dry spots and stuff like that, because it's such a panel, just one big area. It's going to be a little more challenging than your Honda Civic roof, say. Pickle Bob, in high school, the metal shop had a Detroit-powered short bus. No, I wasn't special, not like that anyway. Yes, it's a lot of jokes about the old short bus, isn't there? Christopher C. The two-stroke talk makes me think about Wankel rotary engines and the oil premix. Yeah, I had a few rotaries in my day. Rallied a couple of rotary cars, and yeah, great engines. Great engines. Um, um, Fleetwood. Hey man, welcome along. Yeah, good to have you here, Steve Sadusky. Kiwi shirts are good quality material. Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah, I paid good money for the shirts. I wanted a decent quality one that wasn't going to shrink up on people and wear it 3 times and then it's done. So yeah, they're pretty good quality shirts. So yeah, Beagle Boss send an email out this week for sure. I'll keep an eye open for it, mate. Eric Wilson, I'm really hoping to get a lot of work done on my 90 grand Wagoneer this summer. Planning on LS swap on it. Okay, that'd be a good swap for it. You're going to marry that up to the original like transmission and axles and that kind of thing. That should be ample. They should be able to handle that. I'm sure someone's got an adapters, whatever adapters you'd need to put an LS in it. I would think. Chris Cadman, Detroit diesels like to run away on crankcase oil. Okay. Keep some plywood to cover the intake. Yeah. When a diesel runs away, it's pretty spectacular. I've seen that happen once, and it's they run away. Very hard to stop them. Steve Sadusky, hey Kiwi, don't forget to add Kev to your videos. Yeah, I've been a little remiss on that, and he will be starting to feel left out. Yeah, we had him in that electrolysis one, but I have to take him on a few more road trips. I think a few more road tests around the block. So keep an eye out for him. We'll try and get him included a bit more. Josh Homan, I don't know. Honda Civics are getting bigger as well. Well, that's true. They are getting bigger, but yeah, they've got a wee ways to go to get to the length of Marge's roof. That's pretty long. Chris Cadman, Bourbon Tide. It is indeed, yes. I'm making slow progress on this one tonight. So what else is happening? Look at that, we've got more likes than we got viewers. So you guys have been hitting the like button. So well done. Well done. Give all yourselves a pat on the back. Eric Wilson, yes, I've got an all-aluminum 6.2 litre L94 engine lined up for it. Wow. Nice. Yeah, that'll go better than your average Jeep, won't it? Steve Sadusky, what's your next project? Hey, what's my next project? Well, yeah, I'm trying to get this truck kind of just to a point where it's decently drivable, without going crazy on it. But really, the next big project for me personally is the Sunbeam Alpine, and that is I keep saying it's going to be in the next few weeks, and the next few weeks kind of fly by, and it's like, oh, I still haven't touched it. So, but yeah, I really have to. Teal Bob, I heard the next project of this is Kiwi Sunbeam. Yep. You keep hearing about it, and I just actually have to do something about it. This Ford truck's kind of come in and stuck itself in there. But I kind of need to get, it's relatively simple to get it going, and like keep it simple, stupid, and have a driver, and that's what I'm trying to do with that. So we're kind of pushing on that a little bit for a couple of weeks, and then it's Sunbeam, deep dive into the Sunbeam. So what have we got? Yeah, Eric Wilson. Yeah, I got to do some work for a friend to get that engine. Yeah, well, it's probably worth it, bud. Christopher C. I haven't drank in years after I got my medical card, and can now grow my own medicine. There you go. Driveway of misfits. Mrs. Kiwi's going to throw you out of the house if you don't get that Alpine done this year. Yeah, many a true word spoken in jest, brother. Many a true word. Yeah, I think quietly she might be giving up, but yeah, so I don't want to let that happen. So yeah, she deserves that car. So I got to make that happen one way or another. So yeah, no more purchases for me. I just got to get done what I need to get done. But yeah. So yeah, expect that Alpine coming soon to a channel near you. Beagle Bob might want to keep that truck a long bed until the missus is happy. You could fit a bigger camper top. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, somewhere to sleep. Yeah. Yes. Again, many a true word spoken in jest. Yeah. Stray Bullet. I recently saw a street racing video on YouTube from 1986 in my hometown. Out of all the fast cars of the time, I didn't see one that a 25 Honda Civic couldn't easily handle. Things have moved on a little bit from 1986. 300 horsepower was like, wow, back in 86. Now it's like, it's Honda Odyssey territory. 300 horse. It's just not that big a deal anymore. But, in the day, they felt fast. 15-second quarter mile was a fast car at 86. Not the fastest, but it was a fast car. Not so much today. So, yeah, things progress, things move on. Fleetwood, anyone near Detroit this weekend? Autorama is here. Mate, I'm nowhere near Detroit this weekend. I would like to catch that show one year, though. I would like to. James Justice, is there a waiting line to have work done? Yeah, there is. Yep, absolutely there is. And it depends a little bit on what it is you want doing. And for the foreseeable future, I'm not taking on any like full builds, any like major restorations. Yeah, I've got too many other cars to do. So we're doing a little bit more of the small stuff. Like this GDO, we're doing suspension and brakes and, wheels, tyres, that kind of thing, which doesn't, that's not a big project. You get a lot done in a short space of time with that kind of job. So those jobs are coming in and going out. But yeah, total rebuilds, not for the foreseeable future. Yeah. I've just got to play catch up, and I've got to start saying no, because there is only so many hours in a day, so many hours in a week, and it's very easy to overcommit yourself. Trust me. Yeah, like what they say, ask me how I know. Yeah. Stray Bullet, 400 horsepower, and you were king of the streets. Absolutely, you were. Now, yeah. I mean, now we got 700 horsepower production cars. So yeah. If you could transport a red eye, Mopar red eye back to 86, you'd seriously be king of the streets. Eric Wilson, I wish I could send a pic of my Trail 70. It looks really cool. Look, I bet it does, bud. But send me a picture to my email. And if I can swing it, I'll try and show the picture next week. 1986 Salinas street racing. I've seen that video also. I haven't seen that. No. Don Ballett, fastback Cougar, still on hold. Yeah, still on hold. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see that car come up for sale unfinished. It happens, It happens. Have I, or anyone else ever asked about a hardtop swap from a convertible? I feel like you have done a Mustang or exposed a hack job that someone did. Yeah, that was a hardtop that was converted into a convertible, not the other way around. Yeah, and that was a hack job because they'd basically cut the roof off the hardtop or the coupe and just put the visible convertible parts on, of like obviously the convertible frame and the well where the convertible top drops into and that kind of thing. But they hadn't done any of the chassis stiffening, which seriously compromised the car, because the hardtops rely heavily on the roof for strength. That is part of the package, and you cut the roof off, and they're just they're extremely flexible without the convertible underpinnings. So yep, there's a video of that on my channel there somewhere, or a little ways back now. But if you go digging for it, you'll find it. It's there. Stray Bullet, that's the one, dude. That Primer Black Falcon was a hard car to beat back then. Okay. Driveway of Misfits. A good mechanic will never be short of work. This is very true. This is very true. Well, guys, we're about 9 minutes away from time's up. So, yeah. Any last minute requests, questions, suggestions? I was expecting a bit more pushback when I mentioned going short bed on the shop truck. But yeah, I know when that first video I did on that truck, and I kind of hinted at that being a possibility. And I was surprised how many people said no, keep it a long bed, But yeah, they say it's. I want it to be a short bed, so yeah, I've kind of going to fly in the face of some of the detractors from the short bed conversion and get that done. Because my truck, my choice kind of thing, But I just like the look of them better, and it needs some work. The bed needs some work, so yeah. And it's also it does factor into some of the stuff I do on vehicles like that is good YouTube footage. That's just the reality of it. You've got to keep those videos coming, and yeah, it's it'll make good video footage. Chopping that thing up and making it 16 inches shorter. Eric Wilson, 12-inch wheels and tires. So that's got the fairly fat balloonish wheels, I think. Is that right? Am I right there, Eric? I think. What do we got? Eric Wilson. Well, thanks again, Kiwi. You're cool, brother. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's really fun. I just, if you'd asked me, 25 years ago, would I be in America building hot rods on YouTube, with 25,000 subscribers, I'd have said you were high, but yeah, here I am. So yeah, it's pretty cool, I'll be honest. Cross cabin, bourbon time, ciao Kiwi. Ciao mate, thanks for joining in. Always good to have you here. Steve Sadusky, do a video of making the truck a short bed. Oh, definitely. That's definitely a thing. And I'll kind of try and do a little bit, reasonably in depth without making it too long and boring. But yeah, so I did one a long time ago on a Chevy, shortened it up, and mentally looking back to that, because there was no video, didn't bother doing any videoing of that. Then that was pre my time on YouTube. So yeah, looking back to that, it's like, yeah, that would make a good video. So I think it will. Driveway of misfits. Wait until you need to haul some 8-foot long material for the shop. Then you wish you had left it along. Yeah, well, it'd be nice if you could be both, wouldn't it? Like flick a switch and just stretch the bed out. That'd be awesome. But you can't have it both ways, as they say. Beagle Bob, I love a long bed and an argument, but I'm not prepared to buy or try to find a short bed to trade, so I will abstain. Fair enough. If you want a short bed, buy one. Well, yeah, they're not that hard. Not that easy to come across. They're just not that easy to come across, the short beds. Andy Nickel, short beds are fine as long as you're not hauling a lot of plywood or drywall sheets. And short beds look better. Yeah, well, I mean, you guys know what I do. I'm not a builder. I'm not a sheet rocker. So yeah, a short bed will fit. A 426 Hemi with a transmission on the back of it. So that's all I need. That's all I need it to do, really. And it'll tow a car trailer just as good as a long bed. So yeah. The dude, make sure to save me a shirt for when we meet at Carlisle. Will do, man. Will do. Absolutely will do. 6th Street Garage, your kit's available for the short bed conversion on the Ford. Yeah, there probably is. I'm not sure what you would need in the kit, but I should look that up, actually. Nathan McCree, no, make it a short bed. Yeah, so, the camps, the vote is a little split on that one. So, but... yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah. Canadian Shield 9mm. Hi, Kiwi. Are you painting Marge? I'm the guy doing your shop in 1/160 scale. I got a car done. Do I paint it or make it rusty? No, probably make it rusty, man. Marge may get painted one day, but it's not on the horizon at the moment. She may get painted. I got a lot to do to her first before we were at that point. So it's not impossible, but not again another one, not in the foreseeable future. So well, that'll be. I'm interested to see that. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Granddad's Junk's been a good chat, guys. Take it easy. Yep, thanks for joining in, man. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's good to have some Kiwis in the house. It's got a 10-inch. Eric Wilson. Well, normally it's got 10-inch wheels and tires. Oh, okay. James Justin, sure wish I could help you. Well, when Marge needs painting, I'll need some help. So yeah. Orlando Pockets. Oh my God, it's widescreen. What's next? Dolby surround sound. Hope you're having a good evening, Kiwi. Yes, having a good evening. Got the darn live stream thing figured out. What was going on? So yeah, back to full width and a whole bunch of comments on the side of the screen here, just over that way. So much easier to read. So it works for me and it works for you guys. So it's awesome. Stray bullet. Not even many photographs back then. No, there probably wasn't. Steve Sadusky, do you know of a shop that will be able to cut your drive shaft and balance it? Yeah, there's a place in Nashville, like 25 minutes from my shop, that does that kind of thing, and he's pretty good at it. So, that shouldn't be a problem. And I can, as soon as we get it, off, we can fire that away to get done and have it ready for when, we should get it back by the time the chassis is re-welded together. Jeff, off you go for half a block of Whitakers. Oh, mate, I wish. If only I had a bar of Whitakers. But that would be nice. That would be nice. Andy Nickel, have a good evening. Thanks for joining in, Andy. Always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you to all you guys for joining in. It is pretty much 9 o'clock, so it's kind of time to wrap it up, guys. Another Tuesday night has flown by. Another week has flown by. Be sure and drop in, hit that like and subscribe buttons on the videos and the shares and all that sort of stuff. It all helps to keeps things ticking over and helps pay for shop trucks and stuff like that. So I appreciate all that you guys do. Thanks a lot. And it's what else we got? You better go down to the shop, Kiwi. Here we go. Chris Freeman, just heard on the police scanner that Kevin's having a rave down there and things are getting out of hand. Yes, that's very funny. That's cool. All right, guys. Have a great evening, the rest of your evening, afternoon, morning, whatever you're watching from, and have a great week. Get out there, do some work on your cars, get some things done, go and drive your cars and have a bit of fun, and just take care of each other. All right, guys. I will see you next week. Take it easy.